something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware.
Welcome to Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. I'm Len Mort.
And I'm Dory Cronin.
And together we come here to bring you informative things of the past, the present, and sometimes the future. And we hope you enjoy the show that we have for you today. How's things going with you, Dory?
Good, gearing up for back to school.
Oh, the kids like that?
Actually, they're ready to go back.
Oh, wow. They're getting bored at home.
They're getting bored, they miss seeing their regular friends, and it's always fun to go clothes shopping. So
Clothes shopping. Girls like to shop until they drop.
yeah, they like to shop a lot.
Ah, that's great. That's great. You know, when we did the program at Waters Farm, your daughters were there, and we had fun with them.
Yeah, they really enjoyed going to Waters Farm. We can't wait to go back.
Especially when the sign blew over and wouldn't stay up. And,
yeah, I wonder if anybody noticed Morgan's legs behind it.
Never mind the legs, the hands on the bottom of the sign, the fingers moving. It was like she was playing the sign.
That's
you know?
right, that's right. We had a lot of fun.
And I don't know if anybody really noticed that. My wife and I were watching the program on TV, and I pointed it out to her. She said, I never knew that.
See? Only to the trained eye would you know.
That's right. That's right. We had a good time there. And we've been having a good time with a lot of our programs, and been trying to bring to you really informative information and people. And today we're going to meet someone that I think is
Pretty special.
kind of special. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go on a field trip.
I love field trips.
And yes, we've done a few of those.
Yes, we have.
Matter of fact, we did 2 field trips.
Yeah, down to Rhode Island.
That was fun when
Yeah.
we did the thing on the
Culinary.
Worcester Diners.
Yeah.
And that worked out really well. It ended up as a 2-part program, but it worked out great.
And Waters Farm was great fun too. So
Yes, and I hope people enjoy that when they see it.
yeah.
And well, why don't we gear up and go off on our field trip
Sounds like a good idea to
and
me.
meet our special guest.
All right, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Well, Dory, what do you think of this rig that just came back from a trip?
It's huge and it's beautiful. I couldn't imagine trying to drive it though.
Yeah, it's excessively long, and the graphics are absolutely phenomenal on it. We want to welcome the driver who just came back, Bill Havalotti. Come on out here, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
How you doing?
Great, you?
Good, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
It was nice that we were able to be here as you pulled in, so our viewers could see the immense size of this truck and the graphics that are on it.
So where did you just come in from?
I'm from Long Island, New York. I was there about a week and a half.
And where do you head to next?
I'm heading to Danbury, Connecticut. I'll be down there for about a week and a half. Have the wall set up down there.
So we're lucky to have you here for a little while so we can talk
Yeah.
about what you do.
Yeah, do this quite a bit now since I retired. They give me this job. Work part-time.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting back to the studio so we can complete this program and inform the people just exactly what this truck is all about and where it's going to be in the future.
Sure, we will do that.
All right? Let's go back to the studio.
All right, come on.
Well, here we are back at the studio, and we brought our guest, Bill Havalotti, who just drove in with that massive truck and the Vietnam Memorial Wall.
Right, and now it's amazing actually.
What'd you think of the truck?
It's huge.
Absolutely huge.
You have like a little living room.
Well, there's a table back there and like a bench seat, like a camper. You can sit there, or you can drop it down into a bed. Plus, there's a bed above it.
Yeah.
There's a refrigerator in there.
Now, how much time do you spend on the road usually?
Well, before I used to spend from January 5th, I would leave and don't get home until Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I retired from the company, and this is a part-time job with the company. And there's only 6 events. I did 3 of them already.
So you're halfway through.
Halfway through. And each event I get to come home because it's usually 2.5 weeks if I go out for the next one. Like the next one I'll be leaving to will be on the 17th of September.
Tell me, Bill, what got you started with this wall?
Well, I went down to New York. I was home, and the company asked me to get down to New York. It was down there. And he told me to take pictures of it. I was taking pictures of it down there. And I sent them back up to him, and the boss says, "What do you think?" I thought it was pretty good. I said, "Well, they're putting a bid in for it." He says, well, "You want a part-time job? That's it." I said, "I'll be glad to take that around the country." And that's how I got started on that.
It's very impressive, and I guess where you were saying you went down to New York, that was where it was set up near what?
I was set up down on the water there. In front of the I can't remember the name of the ship.
The Intrepid?
The Intrepid, right. Yep. They got background pictures of that and everything. Real nice.
That had to be quite impressive when you saw it there.
Oh yeah. Seeing it down there, just seeing. I wasn't there for the ceremonies, but I got there the next day. They were tearing it all down because it was there for a week, I think it was. I'm not quite sure. And they were going to tear it down, so I went down to take pictures of it for the company and I sent it back up to them.
And we will be seeing some of those pictures too.
Yeah.
believe.
I brought some up for you to take a look
Okay.
at.
Now you said that wherever it goes, there's a special purpose. There's a whole ceremony that goes along with
Yes,
it.
there is. Out in L.A., they had close to 400 motorcycles. They're all veterans. They got the Patriot riders that don't ride bikes, but a lot of them ride bikes. The ones that don't, they have their pickups. They got all flags on them. And we started off there. They picked me up at a truck stop, and we left there with they got a Lost Rider. There's 3 bikes in the front of me, in the Lost Rider. Usually 4 bikes. Then it was myself. Then there was 200 motorcycles behind me, and then there was another truck behind them. They help out the veterans out there. It's a local moving company out there. Beautiful truck. I got pictures of that too. And behind him, there's more motorcycles. And then come the trucks, pickup trucks and cars behind them.
So it's almost like a parade almost.
Yeah, escorted close to between 10 to 30 police officers, state and towns, each town we go into, they split off, the other town picks up. And, so the traffic won't get heavy. They block the intersections and we just keep going.
That's pretty amazing.
So you had quite a police escort, an entourage.
Oh, yeah. And when you leave, I get an escort out. They escort me back to the truck stop where everybody met. And that was about 2.5 hour ride.
Oh. I've had the opportunity to be escorted out of a few places myself. But this whole thing is just so impressive. It caught my eye when I saw your truck parked on the side of the road. I took a photograph of it after about going by it about 15 times. I said, "That's it. I'm going to stop and take a picture of it." And then when I realized that you were the operator of that truck and so involved with this, I made contact with you. And I think that our viewing audience will really be impressed with what you see here in this program today, and what you have to tell us about the various setups, breakdowns, and places that you've been and places that you're about to go. How long does it take to set this up once you get there?
Well, everything is volunteer. All the workers are volunteers. There's Home Depot place volunteers. A lot of people that come in. A lot of veterans, a lot of non-veterans. A lot with the cemeteries we go set up at. They're all volunteer. They're coming on their days off and help set this up. They have to set it up 2 weeks before I even get there and put the foundation down, and so it'll settle. So when the wall comes in, we'll put the decking down. And then before they start putting the wall up, and they start in the middle in the V. And they have a little ceremony before that. They put the purple heart under the decking. They said this wall is going to have a heart while it goes up. And when they start building the sides. It'll take a day and a half to put up the wall. Then they do all the landscaping around it.
So how long do you stay usually at an event?
Some events, the first one was 2 weeks. The other one was a week. The other one was about a week. And this one will be about a week before I get back.
Now, how many of these have you gone to since you've taken on this responsibility?
3 of them already. And we got 6 events this year.
And they were where?
First one was down in L.A., Whitman, California.
Okay. You want to tell us a little about that?
That was the one with the big parade that we went down to. And we get off the highway coming around down to the light. We made a left turn. Make the left turn and coming around, and you see all these things flying in the air. I thought there were a bunch of flowers and everything. Got up closer to it. There's 3 schools there, all kids' schools. They're all waving the American flag as the truck came by.
Oh, how beautiful.
Like I said, most of the other people behind me said the same thing. Thought there were a bunch of flowers just waving, going by. Then I got on and take a right-hand turn into the cemetery and back in, excuse me, it's in the video that we go into the fire trucks. They had the big flag flying. I drove right underneath that and parked on the side. And all the bikes and everybody coming behind me.
Would they have aerial ladders up with
Yep.
the flags?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That had to be impressive in itself. I've seen that on TV, and when someone from the police department or fire department is lost, and they put the aerial ladders up and suspend a flag from that. That's impressive. It really is.
Yeah.
Do you stay for the whole event? Like, do you watch? I mean, there must be hundreds of people that come.
Yeah, there is. Setting up the wall, we set it all up, and after it's all set up, I don't have to be there. Well, being a veteran, I'm there
Right.
to help out with anything they want me to do. I go down there and I help them out. In an open ceremony, it's unbelievable. The whole program is unbelievable to watch.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Where was the next stop that you made?
From there, I came home for a little while. Then I took off to Georgia. And the same thing in Georgia. We did the show at Fort Gordon Army Base in Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. And their excuse me, their ceremony is different than the one I was just at. They had a what they call it, burning lantern all night long. And another thing they do all night long, even at the first one, once the ceremony starts and they start doing it, they got a big book and they read every name on that wall.
Wow.
All night long, 24 hours. They keep reading it until all the names are read. And all the people that you don't forget on that wall, they'll keep reading. All volunteers.
Now, this is a scale model of that original wall. What's the length of this when it's set up?
240 feet,
How many names do you know? are on it?
58,000.
There's 58,000
Wow.
names. Wow. That's so hard to believe that
Yep.
those people all perished trying to protect us here
The
in our
youngest
country.
name on that wall was 16 years old, and the oldest one is 66. You know, 16-year-old lied his age, to get in the service. He went in the Marine Corps.
After you went to Georgia, what was your next stop?
I come back home, and then I went to Long Island, New York, to do the show down there. And that down there was a different type of ceremony. Everything else the same. They set up different. They put built a little watering hole around there, and they put all the county flags in there, and the water squirting up, and a helicopter come flying in. That flew in a mission in Vietnam, 62 to 65, was parked at the end of the wall. They flew it in. And then they did all that. We had, they call deuce and a half trucks, jeeps down in there. Most of them will have military jeeps come in, and they do on a nice ceremony down there. Then after that, I came back home. My next one is going to Danbury, Connecticut.
When will that be?
Well, I gotta leave the 17th and meet up at Orange County Choppers. I'll be up there, and I'm waiting on the 18th, meet up with all the bikes, and then we'll go down to Danbury, Connecticut. We'll ride down there, and that'll be set up, and the event starts the 21st, and it ends on the 24th.
I'm sure they'll have quite a few motorcycles there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't shot a motorcycle since I've been doing this.
Well, you're an old biker anyway.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
You
I
go
still
back.
ride now and then.
Yeah,
Take my brother-in-laws out.
Yeah, you go back a long ways riding.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
It must be really, I think about going to an event or something like that. It must be very overwhelming too if you're standing there and you're looking at all these names
Mhm.
and you realize, everything all these families. I mean, it's not just those people. I mean,
No,
it's just,
everybody.
it must be very overwhelming, I would think.
And doing what you're doing must have a great significance because of your background, your military career.
Yeah.
You were in the Marines, right?
Yeah, 6 years.
Were you participate in Vietnam at all?
No.
Or that was before
I
you?
wasn't at that time, but
Okay,
never got to go there. And, a lot of friends went there.
I'm sure. I had a lot of friends that went there and a lot of friends that didn't come back.
Wow.
And I
Yes.
looked up in the book there, there was only 2 from Millbury that got killed over there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember their names now, but there was only 2.
What is the most significant thing out of all of your travels so far with this that sticks in your mind, stands out the most?
Well, I think it's back the first event in California, Whitman. On a Wednesday, I got there and all these chairs are in circles. So I went up to the gal that was in charge, Carol. I said, "What's all the chairs for?" He said, "Remember all them schools you came by?" "Yeah." "And there's other schools. They're all coming down here, going to get a history on Vietnam." For Wednesday and Thursday, there was kids sitting in the chairs asking questions about Vietnam. And there's a lot of that you'll see in some of the video I brought back. You can look at it. And on the wall, scratching names off, picking a name, scratching them,
Yeah.
and taking the paper with them, or putting down a rose or something. It was unbelievable.
And I'm sure not only putting down rows, that there's many people laying down a tear for lost relatives or friends. You know.
Yeah, and there's another, and back to Whitman again, is that there's about 30 chairs, just you'll see in a video, white chairs. Every chair had a rose. And in the town of Whitney, that's where all them gentlemen and ladies were from. They got killed in Vietnam.
There was 30 of them?
That had to be touching.
Yeah.
Extremely.
I see a lot of healing on that wall too. Soldiers going in, holding the wall, breaking down, but healing at the same time. And all the veterans that are around there go get them, they go sit down, and they talk and talk. More healing going on there. It's really something to see and take in.
And as long ago as it was, there's still people today that haven't healed,
Right, right.
you know, emotionally
Hmm.
as well as physically, you know. But it's the emotional healing that is really needed. You know, that sets really deep.
Yeah, from
And,
veterans
it's
that
the hardest thing to get over.
from veterans that were over there, but they weren't in with the same veterans that are there now. They get together. It's amazing how it's working.
Well, I would think that it would be important to people who are active military now, who are involved in Iraq and Afghanistan, to see that they're not going to be forgotten. What they're doing isn't going to be forgotten,
Right.
because there must be times where it feels very lonely, you know, that you feel like really nobody even knows you're there. And so I think it's important for, you know, what you guys do, to let them know that, you know, hopefully, yeah, as a country we can continue.
And so many of the people that had been over there and risked their lives for us and came back home were turned away,
Right.
weren't spoken to, were spat upon. And that holds true even today with Iraq and Afghanistan. Our people have gone over there to do what they had to do and come back, and people are turning them away.
Right.
And they feel that when they come home, they're not wanted, they're not needed. And how many homeless vets are there out there now who have come back from military service from Vietnam and have been living homeless and or relying on a veteran shelter? And it's just absolutely tragic that that takes place in our country.
It does.
Yeah.
Like they say that, I'm trying to figure the words for it, is free is not free. It's hard to be free if you don't keep the country free from other people, and what you have to pay to keep that freedom. It's a lot.
Many paid with their lives
Hmm.
to keep us free,
Right.
so that you and your children can go to school,
Right.
that you can work,
Yeah.
that you can come and go as you please. In so many countries that you can't come and go as you please. You
Right.
can't watch what you want to watch on TV. You can't read a book. You know, you're in fear 24/7. You know, it's just ironic that in a time and an age that we're in, and how many thousands, millions of years have gone behind us, we really haven't progressed much at all.
No, then you can't. I don't know. It's hard to figure out the people now, as all the veterans that are out there, and trying to help another veteran, and people look at you different too. And now they're saying thank you for doing this. Before that,
Yeah, where
was how-
were you when it was
Yeah.
fresh? Where was it when?
you know, a lot of, I belong to the Marine Corps League, and I belong to the Legion Post. And there are all the veterans in there. We're all sticking together and everything. We help other veterans and do other things with veterans. And you go out to tell, oh, say hi to the veterans. Well, why should I do that for? Well, you're free, aren't you? You should say that and thank you to them.
Right.
They give you a dirty look and walk away.
I think that's why it's especially important now that you guys continue to bring that. You're bringing it to people, you know, so that they can go out and see it and witness it. And how can you not feel it, you know, when you're standing there and you're looking at all of those names?
Yeah.
You know, it's very important.
It is, especially when you look and you can see this humongous list of names before you. And no matter where you look, left or right, there's more names. And each one of those paid with their life at great costs, great pain, great suffering. And yet they did it for our country,
Right.
you know.
There's
And to see people, you watch an event, whether it be NASCAR or football, baseball, and they play the national anthem and people put their hand over their heart. Look in the crowd and see how many people don't bother.
how many people
don't take their hat off,
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
you know? And that really bothers me.
Bothers me too. We do a lot of, with the Marine Corps League, we do a lot of events. We're out in Muska, in Connecticut. We're state color guard, so we're marching down there. How many police officers salute that flag? Hardly any. And they're an officer. They should be saluting that flag when it comes by. But some do, some don't.
And one of the things that just came to mind was talk about the flag. It was a narrative that Johnny Cash did about the flag and how it was so tattered and ripped and worn, and people were asking him why you would pay such homage to a flag, and he explained why that flag was so tattered and torn and in the condition that it was, for all the wars that it went through, all the bullets that had hit it, all the bombs that had torn it down, and so on. And any of our viewing audience, if you ever want to hear anything really good and you haven't, check out Johnny Cash and the narrative on the flag that he has. I'm sure you can Google that and or find it on YouTube. It's impressive.
We're down in Georgia. This old gentleman come in, walking with his family, walks up to the wall, did the whole wall, found what he had to find. I don't know how many names he looked up. And then he went home. Then Thursday I'm down here and everything, we're walking around, we're talking and everything. They come home. Remember that old gentleman that was walking up there and checking all the names with? I said, yeah. He says, he passed away. They said, his wife said that he got home, he said he was tired. He did what he had to do. He said, I'm going to bed. And he passed away. I said, you got to be kidding. He just did what he had to do, he said.
He did what he had to do, saw what he needed to see, and went home and peacefully went.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
It's kind of surprising because our very first program, you have to remember that, with Ed Flagg.
Right.
He was a veteran, but not from our country. And he wanted to get into the war so bad that he was too young. He wanted to get into the Air Force. They really didn't have much of an Air Force. And he ended up going to Canada, and he flew for the Royal Canadian Air Force. And he was shot down three times and survived. You know, he had been shot quite a few times. And when he came, you know, I was in awe because he brought quite a supply of medals that were awarded to him. And one of them was one of the very highest awards from the Royal Canadian Air Force. And I had a lump in my throat just holding it in my hand. I was so impressed with it. And this is what the veterans do, you know. They fight for our country. They fight for you, for me, and our children. And they don't have a problem with giving up their life to protect us.
Plus, some of them have families too.
Absolutely.
Giving up a lot.
And you find that today too, that you know most of the people that are going to Afghanistan are there willingly. They want to be there for us. You know, which I find amazing, because it's a big
risk they're taking.
It is. It really is.
I have a friend, a neighbor that just came back from Afghanistan, and he came home at one time and he went back, and now he's home again. And I'm glad he's home safe.
Yep.
You know, this wall really impresses me, and I hope that our viewing audience sometime in the future can get out and see it right up close.
Yeah, it'll be down in Danbury, Connecticut, 1 Memorial Drive.
And what date will that be?
The event starts on the 21st.
Of September?
September, ends the 23rd. We maybe could be the 23rd, and we tear down on the 24th.
So it'll be there 3 days?
3 days, yeah. Then I'll be coming home again. Then when I leave there, I go down to Fort Lauderdale. And
When will that be?
September 23rd, I'll be leaving. I'll be down there. And right from there, I'm coming home. I'm heading right out to Portland, Oregon. And that's the last event of the year. And I'll be home the 20th of November after I drop the whole thing off in Detroit.
Okay.
So you're going to be putting on quite a bit of mileage.
Oh, yeah. My time of resting is going to be over.
Well, I think that this is a great thing that you know, you and your company are doing, and we will in the credits at the end we'll put the dates of their next trips that you'll be set up.
And the website where they can see all the information. I took a look at it myself.
Absolutely, and with that,
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you
It's
for having
very
me.
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. And with that, at the end of our program, we usually have a words of wisdom. And today's words of wisdom are, God won't ask what you did to protect your rights. He will ask you what you did to protect the rights of others. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I walked through a county courthouse square, and on a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." I said, your old flagpole's kind of leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it. He said, have a seat, and I sat down. He said, is this the first time you've come to our little town? I said, I think it is. He said, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night Francis Scott Key set up watching it right in Say Can You See? It got a little rip in New Orleans with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. It almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on, though. It got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she took a bad hit from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low by the time that one was through. She was in Korea, Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. The Native American Indians, the blacks, the yellow, the white, all shed red blood for the stars and stripes. And in her own good land here, she's been abused, she's been burned, dishonored, denied, refused, and the very government for which she stands has been scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare, and she's wearing kind of thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in. Because she's been through the fire before, and she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, and we bring her down slowly every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold it upright. On second thought, he said, I guess I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.